everybody, and welcome back to Out of Body's 31 Days of Halloween. Today's video is finally part 3 of this story that I've been reading. The story is called My Friend Didn't Follow the Rules, Now He's Missing. Now, as always, please visit the author's page on Reddit. I will link all of their information down below. Follow along with me if you want to. And yeah, so let's get into part 3 of this story. Urgent. This post is urgent. I'm getting closer to an answer than I've ever been. I'll start from the beginning. I got to the town around 1 a.m. this morning. I rented a cheap family-run motel room and tried to get some rest. Well, my thoughts were racing around my head, and I got around 2.5 hours of sleep. At 3:34 a.m. exactly, I remember. I woke up in a cold sweat. The only thing I could think about in the following moments was the man who hid the notepad. In my mind, his face became distorted and elongated. His voice was low and high-pitched at the same time. "Red," I gasped. Breathlessly and without thinking, I wrote all morning about the man and AJH until my own thoughts could no longer entertain me. I don't think entertain is the right word, but oh well. At 5 a.m., I gave in, and I looked up Red's parents' address. At 5:08, I was on my way to their house. By 5:14, I was on their doorstep. I knew the pair were awake by the smell of coffee wafting its way under the front door and the dim lights shining through the fog. I remember everything leading up to seeing his parents, from the smell of the rain lingering in the air to the pit in the bottom of my stomach. Reluctantly, I raised my arm and knocked on the door. In what seemed like less than a second, the door in front of me opened. I looked up to see Red's father, looking shocked at the sight of a visitor. His face was pale. His blonde hair was neatly tucked, and his large eyes looked like dolls. "Who are you?" he asked hurriedly. For a moment, I had no words. Then my tongue caught up with me, and I introduced myself. "Why?" he wondered. "Why are you here?" Solemnly, I told him, "I knew your son." "I don't have a son. I have a daughter." "Oh," I stuttered. I mean the son you had. No, I mean, Red, I'm sorry. I didn't mean..." "Come inside." He moved away from the doorway, and I stumbled inside the house. Inside, another man was sitting at the kitchen table alongside Red's mother, another woman, and who I suppose was Red's sister. "I'm Sean Geralt," Red's father introduced himself. I thought for a moment. Geralt was Red's last name. "Everyone," he announced, "this is our visitor." Everyone in the house turned to look at me. Red's sister spoke up. "Why is she here?" Sean chuckled. "She thinks we have a son." Everyone at the table laughed for far too long to be comfortable. "A son?" Red's mother laughed. "Yep," Sean responded. "I'm serious. I need answers. Red was your son. He's dead, or as the school said, missing." "How old are you?" the man sitting at the table asked. "I'm 47. "So were we," Red's mom laughed. But that's how old Red's mom had been when I was in school with Red. I told her defiantly, "No, you aren't." Red's mom brushed it off. "And what school are you talking about?" She tilted her head to the side in questioning. That's when I noticed the stitches. Metallic stitches bordered her face, and as I looked around it, it was the same with the others. I hadn't noticed how their mouths drooped when they talked, or how they never blinked. I backed up towards the door, and I bolted outside. My heart raced inside my chest, and my feet worked faster than my brain, and they led me up streets that hadn't seen cars in decades. Before I knew it, I was standing in front of HAH. The doors were thrown open as if inviting me inside. I checked my phone. 5:14 a.m. Time hadn't changed. I opened the message app on my phone and I texted my wife, "I love you, honey. I'm doing great. I can't wait to see you again on Monday." I needed the motivation to survive this. Taking a deep breath, I entered the building. I kept my phone tightly clutched in my hand, and as soon as I entered the building, it turned 5:15 a.m. Then the internet signal was lost. There were no doors suddenly slamming shut or anything. I was met with silence. I was glad, though, that I had seen from the outside that the windows were wide open. I ducked to the ground and stared directly in front of me. I wasn't breaking rule number 6. I crawled forward past the cafeteria that shared space with the gym and rows of endless lockers and classrooms. My classroom was on the second floor. Luckily, the stairwell had no windows. I got to my feet and started up the stairs. Good thing I was ascending and not descending the stairs when I entered, or else it would have had the chance to attack. I had never been more thankful that the second floor didn't have windows. I walked down the hallway, examining all the lockers. Of course, the place was eerie, but the scariest thing was the sound of footsteps behind me. I whipped around to see a woman my age. It took me only a second to realize this is the woman from Facebook. "I'm so glad you came," she cooed. "I was hoping you'd be here." I took a step back from her. "Well, I'll be seeing you," she sang and skipped down the stairs. I could tell by the sound of footsteps downstairs that she didn't duck around the windows. I didn't hear any screams or sounds of agony, no breaking bones or anything, just the sound of her whistling. I looked around the hall to see all of the classroom doors open and, as expected, teacherless. There was no way I'd enter into there. I walked some more and it hit me. I had to use the restroom. I looked down the hallway and there at the end, I saw it. The restrooms. I rushed to it without thinking. I entered the women's restroom and found a stall. I started to hear something like a faint whispering. Then it was a loud voice calling my name. I've been in here for over 12 hours now. I'll update tomorrow. About 7 hours ago, I read the writing on the stall wall, etched messily. Rule number 7, don't look up. Rule number 8, don't say his name. And that's where part 3 ends. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. I think the story is getting good. There is a 4th part. I don't know if there's any parts after that. If there are, I'll continue to read them, but I know there's at least a part 4. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video tomorrow for 31 Days of Halloween. Bye.